So, guys, tell me, is marriage abroad more like business partnership? Don't mind my hair, I have made it myself. I'm proud of myself. Anyway, let's continue. The reason I'm saying this, okay, still I will be referring to the country I'm living because there I have experience, and I'm not doing this in a wrong way, please. Just speaking, like thinking loud, you understand? And it's allowed, isn't it? So, in every country, there are different classes of people. There are those ones we call them rich, there are those ones middle, and they are the lowest. And even the second and the third class, there are also some struggles. Maybe the first class, their struggle is how to make more money, how to open more branches, or how to expand their businesses, and so on. And somehow the second class may be a little bit well off, but there is a little struggle. And then there is the third one. The reason I'm making this, sometimes it's hard even to save, especially you are employed. If you are employed and you depend 100% on that salary, you don't have any other income. This is true life. Here, this is what happens. The difference between here and, let's say, like where I come from, if let's say you have that the lowest class, most of the people have those ancestral lands. Like, you still have a place you can call home. You have a place, like if you are in the villages part, now leave alone the ones who move to the towns to look for green pastures. But if you are in the village part, you may find yourself, you still have a space, even if it's not so a good house. Maybe it's just a mud house, but at the end of the day, you are not going to pay a rent for that space. Now here, you may not have that house, whether it's ancestral or it's like you don't have it. You depend on rental houses. Now, if you're married, if you are two people, depends also with the city you are living in. For example, let's say you are living in Munich. That's where I'm living. And your salary is about, let's say, 1,800 a month after the deductions. And your partner, maybe she's also earning the same, or he's also earning the same, or a little bit more. Now you have family, you have kids, and let's say you have like 2 children. That means you'll need a bigger house for you and your kids, because of course you're not going to use the same room. Like in African, it's possible. The parents will have their bed on this side. We put a curtain, and then the kids will have their bed on the other side. They may have a curtain or not, but the parents will have a curtain separating, like you make it like a room. In the middle, there is a table and seats where maybe you sit down, or there is a sofa. Either this sofa could be on the side of the parents or on the side of the kids. And life goes away. The life goes on. At the corner, there is a stove where you're using to cook. And you survive in this room. But here is different. The kids will have their own space, and the parents will have their own space. Now, depends also the rental. because you find some 3-bedroom house, as they call it. If you hear 3-bedroom house, that's a living room and 2-bedroom. For us, that's a 2-bedroom house. Now, the payment. Maybe this house per month you pay around 2,000. That's just the rent, 2,000 euro. So remember, if the two partners are earning 1,800, that's just an example, per partner, that means the other one has to add 200 on top of this 1,800 for them to pay the rent. Now the salary of one person is gone just for rent. You've not talked about food, you've not talked about credit, maybe your phones are on credit. You've not talked about maybe the sofas are on credit. You've not talked about the electricity bill, the Wi-Fi bill, those normal charges which are a must. You have to be charged. Electricity is a must. You have to, that one is automatic. You have to pay. The water bills, those Nebenkosten, like those small costs. And it's not just small. If it's 50 euro or 70 euro, the total, you may end up maybe paying around 500 more, or even more than that 500. The food, you have to make sure that you have enough to put you up to the whole month. Tell me, when are you going to save? If you are depending on that, you have kids, although the children are given something by the government, but still things are very expensive. You go to the supermarket, you pick small things, and then at the end of the day, like after picking, you go to pay, and just like that, 100 euro is gone. Now that's the questions. Now that person may not be able to accumulate enough for 1 year to go for a holiday, so they save. One thing I normally say, if you see people traveling to other countries for holiday, that person has saved that money for maybe 2-3 years. It's not easy. So that's my question. Like, the marriage, although there is love involved inside the marriages, but it's also more like a partnership. You cannot survive without the money of the other. You have to help one another for you to be able to survive, and also save the little you can. Because hey, and these days everything is shooting. Things are expensive daily. It's hard for just a regular, should I say a normal, I don't know, person to go and purchase something in cash, especially electricity things, electric things like phone. If you need the latest phone, then you'll have to take it on credit. In Kenya, you go on cash, but still, not every person who can afford to go and buy those latest things using cash. Some just go for the cheapest. You can still do it here. There are phones 100 euro and so on, but still that 100 euro, you still have to plan for it well. You have maybe to start saving 20 euro every month for you to be able to afford. So life abroad is not so easy as we see it when we are outside. In fact, I would say, okay, the system is good, the government is, like, comparing it to my own country where I come from, I'm not putting my country down, but sometimes the truth be told, some things my country would need to improve in terms of the government part, the corruption is so much openly in my country, and there are also other things you'd wish. I wish my country, and these our presidents and the other people, they are traveling all over the country. I don't know if when they get to those countries they close their eyes that they don't see what is happening. Like, the leaders should be jealousy of good progress in their own countries, not just going outside to borrow and borrow and borrow and you don't see where those monies come from. Anyway, I'm not into politics. That is one thing I have never, like, we leave it aside. But again, that's life here, and I guess any other country like UK and United States and so on. When you see some videos of people, you see people lying down outside because they cannot afford. To be honest, I didn't know that here there are homeless people. Never. Until I saw people laying down outside even during the cold season. There's also struggles everywhere. It's not just on our side, but I would say here is more better. I'm not putting my country down, please, but I would say here it's a little bit better than where I come from. I love my country, but I wish that our government could at least do some improvements, because anyway, what's your thought? Put it down the comment section. Thank you for watching.